Guys, Claude for SEO is absolutely insane. And in this video, I'm going to show you three things. Firstly, how you can identify keywords that are worth tens of thousands of pounds in monthly search traffic. Secondly, how you can identify keywords that your competitors are ranking for in AI search and how to rank for those exact same keywords. So essentially creating like a fully fledged content strategy for you. And finally, how you can identify the links that are allowing your competitors to rank above you in Google search, which domains to target and which type of content to pitch those domains to land those links. As always, if you want the prompts and the step-by-step of everything that I'm about to show you today, sign up to that first link in the description and click the first link on the Notion board. But I'm super excited to take you guys through this today. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, before we get started and dive into the good stuff, I just need to give you 2 minutes to explain what we're about to do to pull some of the amazing data that I've just shown you. So to begin, we will be connecting Claude to something called an MCP. An MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. And the best way to think about it is it's essentially a bridge between an AI model and a piece of software or a tool or an application. So it essentially allows the AI to read, understand, and interpret an external third-party software application tool, an application and things like that. So the best way to think about it is the AI is like your brain, the tools are like your arms and your legs, and the MCP is essentially the nervous system that connects it all. In our example today, we're going to be connecting Claude to the Ahrefs MCP. And we can do this natively pretty much with one click via Claude. And in truth, you can do this with most of the major AI models these days as well. What this means is that Claude can pretty much be let loose on all the Ahrefs data sets. So whereas in the past, a human would have to go through, export the data, interpret the data, pull the conclusions, we can now leverage the power of the AI model and Claude in our hand to actually do this for us. Now, if you're unaware, Ahrefs is probably the leading provider of SEO data in the market. There are others such as Data for SEO or SERP API, but Ahrefs is the one that we will be using today. Fundamentally, all you need to know is that an MCP is essentially a bridge that connects the AI model to a third-party data so that the AI model can understand that third party. And as mentioned, we can pretty much set this up in one click. Okay, enough theory for today. Let's get into the good stuff. Connecting Claude to an MCP is super straightforward. If you're in your Claude interface, select the plus button, go to connectors, and then go to manage connectors. Go to browse connections and quite simply just search for Ahrefs, hit connect. You then need to sign into your Ahrefs account and allow the connection from Claude. When Claude relaunches, if you select the plus button, go to connectors, you should see Ahrefs is toggled on here. Now, one of the biggest upsides and the biggest opportunities really with using Claude or an AI model with a third-party data source is its ability to pull in several different data sets, interpret them, and then give you an output. Of course, I could go into Ahrefs and I could have a look at top keywords that competitors are ranking for. I could have a look at broken links. I could look at all these individual data sets one by one. The beauty here is asking Claude to have a look at several data sets, interpreting the data, putting conclusions, and giving us an action plan to act on those conclusions, basically. So let me give you a handful of really powerful prompts that you can put directly into your Claude. So I've drafted my prompt, which is using the Ahrefs MCP. I've given it the website. Pull all pages with ranking positions, 4 to 15, greater than 500 searches a month. Cross-reference their ranking keywords for commercial modifiers and making sure that there's commercial intent behind each keyword. Identify pages without the strong commercial call to actions and internal links from a high authority page. And then I've asked it to output prioritize optimization opportunities by potential revenue impact. My model is Opus 4.5. Let's see what it produces. You'll notice that it will take my prompt and it will break it up into chunk size bites. So what you need to do is just allow all of the commands as it goes through this. Okay, it's now completed its analysis and you can see that we've got an output on the right-hand side and we've got the series of sort of bite-sized activities or actions that the model took to get to the output. So it's given us some key findings. Page, the home page, the key keywords. So best HR software, we're 11th, employee software, HR software with 4, total volume 17.7K, and it's given us some issues. HR systems, HR management systems, Ahrefs system. On the right-hand side, it's produced essentially like an SEO audit report identifying the highest revenue opportunity keywords that we should be prioritizing as owners of this site, for example. So you'll notice that it's got a list of keywords at the start here. It's ensured that they've all got commercial intent, and just eyeballing them, they all look aligned with someone who would be searching for an HR software system. It's listed the CPC, it's listed the volume, and of course it's given us the total traffic potential, the estimated traffic value a month. So this would be an estimate of how much we would have to pay to drive clicks from these keywords if we were bidding on them through Google Ads, for example. It's just re-referenced our prompt, which is asked to add the commercial modifiers. It's also given the CTA assessment. And then it's given a recommended action plan. So add a dedicated HR software comparison section, create a visible pricing ROI calculator, add a competitor comparison table, strengthen internal links from high authority blog posts, add trust signals in a call to action such as G2 Capterra, for example. It's then gone to the HR systems page, and it's pretty much done the same. So this is absolutely awesome. You know, this is something we could package, probably tweak a little bit, and then deliver for the client. I want to make this a little bit easier to read, so I'm just going to ask if it can put all the results into an Excel style table for us. Okay, so the system has now literally just created that report, and you can see the output on the right hand side. It's tabbed it between the exec summary, the keyword position, the page analysis, the call to action, linking issues, content gaps, and the action plan. So it's got a nice exec summary at the top there. Keyword position, it's given us the top 24, 25 keywords, the traffic potential next to the volume, the CPC, whether it's got commercial intent, the page URL, whether it's a priority or not, and the commercial modifier that's been appended onto the keyword. When we have a look at the page analysis, we can see that it's also prioritized it in the number of keywords that are ranking, total volume, sorted it by traffic value, and then given some issues. When we go on to the CTA and the linking issue, it split it up by the different issue type, the page that it's impacting, a description of the problem, the impact potential, and the recommended. The content gaps, it's given the missing content for the given target keyword, the estimated volume, CPC, content type, and again, the revenue potential. And then it's wrapped it up into an action plan split up across 3 months. This is incredibly comprehensive and took about 4 or 5 minutes to completely generate. Let's see what else it can do. And I want Claude to identify any long tail AI related queries that our competitors are ranking for, but we're not. So I've asked it, pull competitor ranking keywords that are 6+ words long and question based, cluster them semantically, compare them against our keyword footprint, identify clusters that we have zero coverage for, and output the topic angles likely triggered by AI search fan out. Just as this one's running, just for reference, we've also got, and I know this was the case last time, but it's simply mad that Claude can essentially run and execute a Python script to pull all this data together. And you might have seen a lot of chatter around Claude Cowork and Claude Bot and all these sorts of things. These are essentially just wrappers in a Python script. So now that we can essentially have our system run Python, the opportunities really are endless. It's crazy. I had to jump in and just give you that thought. Okay, whilst this is still generating, we've got an output of a sheet that it's put together, and this is looking absolutely insane. So again, we've got a bit of an executive summary. This doesn't tell us too much, if I'm honest, but the real detail comes in these tabs. So firstly, it's split everything up by semantic clusters. So we've got a cluster ID, we've got a cluster name, and then a theme of that cluster. It then gives us the number of keywords, the combined volume, and the competitor leaders. So using this example, as we go through HR software, cluster C1, HR Ahrefs systems, there's 25 keywords, 15,000 combined searches a month, and Workday, Sage, and HireBob are the competitor leaders in this cluster. Having a look at those competitor keywords, again, let's have a look at the C1. We've got what are the top 5 Ahrefs systems, the best Ahrefs systems for mid-sized companies, cloud-based HR software for small business, HR software for small business UK, best HR software for small business. And you can see the AI trigger potential is high due to the semantics of that keyword. And then it's given an intent next to that trigger potential, such as, a comparison page, buying intent, Oh, has it gone? There it is. Comparison query, buying intent, feature query, local buying, for example. It's then given a bit of a breakdown on the Shazam footprint, which is basically saying very low. So again, looking at C1, we can see that we're only really covered for one keyword, which is Ahrefs position 7. This is a major gap and a 5-star opportunity. And then the creme de la creme, cherry on the top, is giving us the topic angle. It's giving us an example of the queries that would be triggered from that keyword, an explanation as to why an AI would trigger those queries based on that keyword, and then a content strategy breakdown. So it said here, a comprehensive comparison guide with feature matrix, pricing table, use case recommendations. It's given the priority stars, so this is 5, and then it's given the estimated searches a month as well. So this here is essentially a content strategy based on AI search. Incredibly powerful. And then if that wasn't enough, it's also given a nice breakdown of an action plan, again, split up by priority. Insane. The final thing I want to ask is for Claude to find the highest leverage link opportunities by authority gap. So what I've done is I've asked it to pull the backlink profiles for Shazam and our top 3 organic competitors, and we can see that it already has a very good handle on what those competitors are. I've then asked it to pull the referring domain DR distribution, topically relevant referring domains, anchor text patterns, links pointing specifically to the commercial bottom of funnel pages. Then I needed to identify authority tiers where competitors outperform us. So, the DR 50, 60, 70s, for example. I then wanted to detect specific domains linking to competitors that would meaningfully close our authority gap. It then should cross-reference whether those domains link to a page similar to ours, and then it should score each opportunity by topical relevance, authority tier impact, and likelihood of acquisition based on the link type. Let's see what it comes back with. So this one's taking a little bit longer to run, but let's just walk through what it's doing to pull its analysis. So it basically first started pulling the domains with DR distribution for each site. Then it had a look at the anchor text patterns. Then it pulled the backlink profile for Shazam HR and the competitors. It then looked at the anchor text patterns and backlinks per specific page. It then sorted those by commercial pages specifically. It then semantically analyzed the backlinks to have a look at the HR specific and topically relevant domains only. It then checked for similar types of domains linking to Shazam. And now it's got all the analysis and it's in the process of creating that link hit list. And so far, this has taken 12 minutes to generate and it's not yet done. And usually, touch wood, the longer the model takes on a specific task, the better and the more comprehensive the output is. Okay, so this one took quite a long time to generate, but the results look absolutely incredible. So to begin, we've got our executive summary and we've got our key findings here. So authority gap, Shazam trails Breathe HR by 3 DR points, Personio by 12. Referring domains gaps, Shazam has 25% fewer referring domains than Breathe and 74% fewer than Personio. Content link gap, the competitors earn contextual links from major publications such as Guardian, Telegraph, and the BBC. Topical anchors, so Breathe HR dominates with HR-specific anchors such as micromanagement and duvet days. Not sure about that one. Commercial links, Personio excels at earning links to HR glossary type pages. Let's dive into the data. So the DR distribution, we've got a nice table here showing the authority of the referring domains that each competitor has attained. And you can see that we're tracking a little bit behind Breathe HR, one of the key players. Looking at the topically relevant domains, we can see that, again, a lot of the competitors have got some of the most authoritative publications probably on the web and on the planet. So Guardian, BBC, Telegraph, Indeed, for example. But it's also given the page topic that they write about, which can give context as to when we're thinking about pitching, what's the type of content we should be pitching to try and increase our likelihood of landing these domains. And then it's given the opportunity list here. So for example, Guardian, holiday/burnout research, pitch exclusively UK HR research data. So clearly the Guardian likes primary research. The BBC, a case study on flexible leave, and Telegraph, for example, are looking for an SMB HR software comparison article, for example. Let's have a look at some of the anchor patterns as well. So we can see Shazam is heavily branded, so it's a very natural anchor profile. Having a look at some of the competitors, although the formatting's not amazing here. Breathe HR, micromanagement HR software, and this Duvet Day, which I assume is probably just the campaign that they ran. Charlie HR, performance review, onboarding, and holiday. Personio, leadership styles, performance tracking, and obviously us, Suzanne, HR, software HR systems. So the anchor gap analysis, they've suggested micromanagement and micromanaging is a theme that we should go after because that's what Breathe does really well. Performance review phrases is what Personio does really well. Duvet days or mental health days, this is what Breathe also do really well. And they've given the type of content needed. So here, like for that, a well-being policy, for example. Let's have a look at some of the commercial links. So going straight into the commercial link gap summary, we can see that educational partner links are quite big, and Breathe have the likes of Coursera and UPenn. We don't have, or Suzanne doesn't have any educational partner links. Reaching out to universities and colleges and things like that could be quite fruitful. Review site links. So all competitors have G2 and Trust Radius. We've got a very basic G2 presence. Considering rolling out glossary pages. So Personio do this that's where they get a segment of their links from, is those third parties linking to these glossary pages. News PR links. So Personio have managed to land the likes of Bloomberg and Fortune, and integration partner links as well. So a lot of competitors, they leverage their integrations as linking opportunities. And then finally, the link hit list. So it's given us the main links to go after, as like the tier ones. It's also given us the type of link that we should try and land. We've then got the tier 2, the tier 3, and the tier 4. So although this is a little bit rough around the edges, the bulk of the data within here is absolutely incredible. And at worst, what we can do is use this as the sort of seed data, and then our team put our own analysis based on outreach campaigns to run to particular domains. So let's just summarize what we've managed to create in the space of about 45 minutes or so with Claude and the Ahrefs MCP. So we firstly got it to identify the high value keyword opportunities that we should prioritize based on revenue impact. So essentially, which keywords to go after for which pages, which content types, in an order of how much revenue those keywords will land the business. The next one was having a look at a content strategy based on competitor keywords aligned with AI search. And it's given us the content we should be creating per keyword and the potential query fan out that will be generated by those AI models. So we've got a nice content strategy that should support the optimizations of the high impact revenue-led keywords that it outlined right at the start. And then finally, we've got a link gap analysis and an outreach campaign plan that can help us land those links, which in turn will help increase the likeliness of ranking for those high revenue impact keyword opportunities that were listed at the start. I'm super excited about where AI is going with MCPs this year. And I'm also curious about connecting multiple MCPs to support an even more robust audit and output across our SEO accounts. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. But more importantly, leave in the comments if you've connected Claude to an MCP and what your outputs have looked like. Thank you.